out there, in the wilderness, when the cameras stop rolling and the winds howl louder than your thoughts, you start to hear something far more powerful than any applause. You hear yourself, not the version of you people praise on social media. Not the polished speaker, the achiever, or the hero of the highlight reel. No, you hear the voice of who you are when no one's watching. That's the version that matters, because character, true, unshakable blood and bone character, is built in the unseen moments, the ones no one applauds, the ones no one even knows about. You see, life isn't about what you do in front of the crowd. It's about who you are when you're alone, when the easy road tempts you, when shortcuts whisper your name, when compromise knocks and no one's around to stop you. That's where the real battle is fought. That's where character is forged, not in celebration, but in silence. Not in comfort, but in the crucible. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, I was on an expedition in the highlands, cold, isolated, supplies were low, and I was hungry, not just stomach hungry, but soul hungry. I could have cut corners, taken an easier path. No one would have known, but I would have known, and that's the thing. You can lie to the world, but you can't lie to the mirror. Another time, different terrain. A teammate had injured himself. Everyone was tired. It would have been easy to move ahead, leave the weak behind, but real leadership isn't proven when things go right. It's tested when it costs you something. We carried him mile after mile through the freezing night, because in that moment, character wasn't an idea. It was a choice, a burden, a responsibility. I've met people with medals on their chest and nothing in their heart. And I've met those with scarred hands and steel in their soul. You know what sets them apart, the decisions they made when no one was watching. So how do you build that kind of character? Here's how. Do the right thing, even if it costs you. Especially when no one will ever find out. That's where you grow. Set standards for yourself higher than the world demands. Don't live by the lowest bar. Face the small daily choices with the same grit as the big ones. Because the small ones stack up. Build discipline in private, make your bed, train when you're tired, help when it's inconvenient. These moments are bricks in the foundation. Talk less, prove more. Character doesn't need to shout. Ask yourself daily, would I respect me if no one else was watching? Let that be your compass. This isn't theory, it's survival. Because when the storm hits, when pressure rises, it's your inner scaffolding that holds you upright. And if you haven't built that scaffold in the quiet, you'll collapse in the noise. You learn more about yourself in the quiet than in the noise. You can climb the tallest peak, stand on the grandest stage, or wear the shiniest badge. But none of that matters if you've cheated your way there when no one was watching, because true character, it's not forged in the applause, it's built in the silence. I've seen men crumble under pressure not because they weren't strong, but because they never trained their spirit in private. They only trained their performance, and when the lights went out, so did they. You know what I've learned, it's easy to pretend in public. It's hard to be real in private. There's no shortcut to strength, no cheat code for integrity. You earn it inch by inch, decision by decision. When no one's around to clap for you, that's the truth. Most people will never see the moments that define your destiny. They won't see you wake up early to train when the bed is warm. They won't see you say no to the easy road when the hard one breaks you. They won't see you pick up trash that isn't yours or help someone who'll never return the favor, but you see it, you know, and that's what counts. I've been out in the wild where there's no audience, no recognition, just the wind, the cold, and my own choices staring back at me. And I'll tell you, those moments, the tough, ugly, brutal ones, that's where you find out who you are. Not when you win, but when you're tested. One time, deep in the mountains, I ran out of water. My body screamed, my mind told me to quit. I was alone, and there, in that dry silence, I had two choices: cut corners, drink from a risky stream, or stay disciplined, even when it hurt. No one would have known, but I would have known, so I waited, I endured, because in that moment my strength wasn't about muscle or toughness, it was about honor. It was about doing the right thing even when it hurt. Especially when it hurt, that's character. It's built when the decision you make won't ever be posted, liked, or praised. It's built when your muscles are shaking, your will is frayed, and you still choose the high road. That's the road that makes you a warrior inside, not because people call you one, but because you know you are one. We live in a world full of noise. Everyone's performing. Everyone wants to be seen, praised, validated. But I'm telling you this now, the loudest voices often have the weakest roots. What matters isn't how loud you are when the world listens, it's how honest you are when it doesn't. I've met soldiers who never spoke about what they did. Quiet men, strong hearts. They didn't need applause. They lived with purpose. I've met teenagers working 2 jobs, studying at night, never complaining, no spotlight, just grit, just fire. These are the people who inspire me, not because they're famous, but because they're real. So if you want to grow into someone who lasts, someone who stands tall when life tries to break you, then forget the audience, forget the likes, focus on the foundation. That's where you need to build. In the early mornings, in the silent nights, in the hard choices, because character isn't an accident, it's a discipline. You train it. You train it when you return the money the cashier overpaid, when you apologize first, when you resist gossip, when you keep a promise that's now inconvenient, when you practice honesty even when a lie would get you out of trouble. Every one of those choices is a rep, just like in the gym. It's a rep for your soul, and the more reps you do in private, the stronger you'll be in public. The world throws storms, betrayals, temptations, disappointments. If you haven't trained your character when the sky was clear, you'll have nothing to hold on to when it gets dark. But if you've done the work, if you've been honest in the quiet, courageous in the private, disciplined in the hidden, then no storm can shake you. That's why I say, do hard things when no one asks you to. Be excellent when no one demands it. Be kind when no one will notice. That's what separates the pretenders from the real ones. And here's the hard truth. Most people won't see what you sacrifice. They won't know how hard you've worked, how many battles you've fought inside your own head, how many temptations you've resisted. But it's okay. They don't need to see. You need to know. That's what builds self-respect. That's what builds peace. That's what builds strength. When no one's watching, that's when the real fight begins. It's not glamorous, it's not easy, but it's where the roots grow deep. And deep roots survive any storm. So if you're grinding right now and no one sees you, keep going. If you're showing up and getting no credit, keep going. If you're choosing what's right over what's easy and no one claps, keep going. Because you're not building a moment. You're building a legacy, and real legacies are built in the shadows. You ever notice how easy it is to look strong when you're standing in front of a crowd? When the lights are on and people are watching. It's a whole different story when you're alone, when the noise fades and all that's left is you and your own shadow. That's where real character lives, not on the stage, not in the spotlight, but in the moments when no one's watching. Because the truth is, anyone can act brave when they know they're being watched. But the person who acts with integrity, courage, and honor when no one's there to cheer, that's the person worth following. I've been out in the wild, deep in the wilderness, where there's no applause, no followers, no praise, just the wind, the cold, and your own mind screaming at you to quit. In those moments, you're stripped bare. There's no hiding, no pretending. You can't fake it. Your true self stares back at you in the reflection of a muddy puddle or a cracked lens. The face looking back isn't the one you show the world. It's the one you live with. And let me tell you, it's not always pretty. It's raw, it's honest, and it will either break you or build you. I remember one night high up in the mountains. The air was thin, the cold was relentless, and I was utterly alone. The stars were sharp points of light in the black sky, but down here in the freezing cold, it felt like the dark was trying to swallow me whole. There was no one to turn to, no one to lean on, just me and my choices. And in that silence, a question hammered in my mind: Who am I when no one's here to see what I do? Who am I when the applause stops, when the cameras go off, when the world isn't watching? That's the moment that defines us. Not when we're standing in a crowd shouting our achievements, but when we're silent and isolated and scared, and we have to decide whether to give up or keep pushing, because character isn't built in the spotlight. It's built in solitude. It's easy to be honest when the world is watching. It's easy to be kind when it's convenient, but when you're alone, tired and frustrated, that's when your true self shows up. That's when your real strength is tested. It's not just about survival in the wild, it's survival in life. The way you treat yourself when you're alone shapes the way you face the world. If you give up on yourself in private, you'll never have the strength to stand tall in public. If you cut corners in silence, you'll find no peace when everyone else is watching. Who you are in the dark defines who you'll be in the light. It's simple but powerful. Think about it. How many times have you made a choice that nobody saw? Chose honesty when you could have lied. Stayed up late to do the work nobody asked you to. Helped someone who couldn't repay you. Those small choices. They're the invisible bricks building your character. I've seen men put on a brave face for the world, but when the cameras were off, they crumbled under pressure because they never trained their spirit in private. They only trained their performance, and when the world wasn't looking, their character was hollow. You don't want that. You want your foundation to be rock solid. You want to be the kind of person who can look in the mirror and say, I did my best, I stayed true. Even if no one ever found out, this isn't about impressing anyone. It's about respect, self-respect, and that's earned in the quiet moments, the ones nobody sees. There's a saying I live by, what you do when no one's watching matters most. It's not just a catchy phrase. It's survival, it's honor, it's who you are. You might be thinking, but what if no one ever notices? That's the point. You don't do it for others, you do it for yourself. Because the person who lives honestly when no one's watching has a backbone made of steel. When the storms come, and they will, your character will be your anchor, and that anchor is forged in the lonely, difficult moments no one talks about. It's forged when you choose discipline over comfort, honesty over lies, courage over fear, kindness over selfishness. One day, years from now, when someone sees you standing tall, when they see your strength and integrity, they won't just be looking at what you did in the light. They'll be seeing all the times you did the right thing in the dark. That's the legacy you build, not the flashy moments, but the unseen hours where you chose who you wanted to be. So what does this mean for you right now? It means showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. When the bed is warm and your body wants to rest, when no one's asking, when no one's cheering, that's when you're really training, that's when you're building your foundation. It means making choices that aren't easy but are right. Saying no to shortcuts, no to excuses, no to giving up, even when no one knows or cares. It means treating yourself with respect, being honest with yourself about your strengths and weaknesses, and doing the hard work to grow in silence. Because who you are when no one's watching, that's the person who will stand strong when everything around you falls apart. And believe me, everything will fall apart at some point. Life isn't fair. It doesn't give second chances to those who didn't prepare. But it does reward those who built their character in the shadows. So here's my challenge to you. Next time you find yourself alone, feeling weak or tired, remember this: you're in the gym of life, training your soul. Every small choice, every silent victory, every moment of self-discipline is a rep for your character. You're not just surviving the moment, you're building an unbreakable foundation for every challenge ahead. Because the truth is, your greatest strength won't be shown in the applause. It will be revealed in the silence. Who you are in that silence will define everything. So make that person someone worth knowing. Integrity isn't something you wear like a badge when the crowd is watching. It's not something you turn on for the cameras and off when you walk away. Integrity is forged in silence. It's built in the moments when no one's keeping score, no one's marking down your wins or losses. It's in those quiet decisions, the ones nobody notices, that the real test happens. You ever wonder why some people crumble when the spotlight's off? Why they're heroes one moment and strangers to themselves the next? It's because their integrity wasn't built on solid ground. It was a show. It was performance. When no one was looking, their true nature showed, and often it wasn't pretty. Real integrity isn't a trophy. It's a grind. It's the choice to do what's right even when it costs you something. When it costs your time, your pride, your comfort, or even your relationships. No one will give you a medal for that. No one will thank you, and that's why it's so rare. I remember a time deep in the wild, far from civilization. I was faced with a choice, a moment where cutting corners would have saved me hours, maybe even days. The easy path, the path no one would ever know about, but I didn't take it. Not because it was easier, to be honest, no, because I knew that the moment I took the shortcut, I would be losing more than time. I'd be losing my integrity. That choice, made in silence, shaped everything. It built my character. It gave me something no one could take away. Because integrity is the one thing you own, no matter where you go or what you lose. Every decision made in private is a seed for your future. You plant it without fanfare, without applause, but it grows. It shapes who you become. Who the world sees is just the final harvest. The public destiny you walk into is built on thousands of unseen, uncelebrated moments. You might think small choices don't matter. That one lie, one skipped workout, one moment of selfishness won't change your life, but they do. They change your brain, your habits, your spirit. They shape the person you wake up as tomorrow. Imagine every private decision as a brick. Some bricks are strong, honest, and pure. Others are cracked, weak, and brittle. Your life's foundation depends on which bricks you choose to lay. And if you're building on lies or shortcuts, don't be surprised when your house of cards collapses under pressure. No one's perfect. We all stumble. We all make mistakes. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is how they respond when no one's watching. Do they own up? Do they get back on track? Or do they keep sliding down the easy slope? I've met people who are champions in the public eye, but liars and cheats in the shadows. And I've met people who are quiet warriors, people who never seek recognition but live with unwavering integrity every day. Those quiet warriors, they build legacies that outlast the spotlight. Integrity is your true north. When the world spins fast and chaos reigns, it's the compass that keeps you steady. Without it, you're lost. And when you're lost, you make poor decisions, you hurt people, you lose yourself, and here's something most don't realize. Every decision you make in private doesn't just affect you. It ripples out. It shapes how others see you, how much they trust you, how much they believe in you. Your public destiny is the result of private actions. Want to be a leader? Start by leading yourself when no one's watching. Want to be trusted? Build that trust in the silent moments. Want to be respected? Respect yourself first, even if it means standing alone. This is the hard path, the path of discipline and honor. It's not popular. It's not easy, but it's the only way to build a life that stands tall against every storm. I challenge you to look at your life like this. What private decisions are you making right now? Are you building something real? Or just playing a role? The answer to that question will shape everything. Because when the world finally watches, it won't care about your words or your promises. It will only see the results of the decisions you made when no one else was watching. That's where true power lies, in the silence, in the choices, in the integrity you refuse to compromise. Greatness doesn't come from one big moment. It's not a lightning strike that changes everything overnight. It's built brick by brick, day by day in the shadows. When no one's watching, that's where consistency comes in. Not just showing up when it's easy or when someone's there to cheer you on, but showing up when it's dark, when it's cold, when your body screams for rest and your mind begs for excuses. I've been in the wild where every step counts. One misstep can mean failure, injury, or worse, but it's not just about the big moves. It's about every tiny action leading up to that moment. Every knot tied, every ration packed, every early morning waking before the sun, all done over and over again. That's consistency, and it's boring, it's grinding. It's the hardest thing to do when no one's there to see it, but that's what separates the average from the extraordinary. The person who's great in public isn't someone who just shines on the stage. They're the person who's relentless in the private hours, the person who never misses those unseen reps, the person who pushes through when the world is asleep. Consistency builds momentum. It builds confidence. It builds a foundation so solid that when the storm hits, you don't just survive, you thrive. But it takes time, it takes patience. It takes the kind of grit most people don't have. You can't fake consistency. You can't pretend it when the crowd's gone, because it's not about what you do once in a while. It's about what you do every single day. There was a time when I was preparing for a trek that would push every limit. The mountains were unforgiving, the weather brutal, and I could have taken short, cut, skipped training days, ignored the pain, but I didn't. I showed up day after day, even when no one cared, even when it felt pointless. Because I knew that consistency would carry me when the real test came, and it did. When I was exhausted, when the path disappeared under snow, when my body begged for rest, that consistency in the background carried me through. That's what consistency in private looks like. It's invisible, it's unglamorous, but it's everything. And here's the kicker: the results of your consistency might not show immediately. Sometimes they don't show for years. But when they do, they hit like a force of nature. Now, let's talk about legacy. Your legacy isn't just the stories people tell about you after you're gone. It's the unseen efforts you put in every day. It's the character you build, the habits you form, the impact you have on those who don't even know you're helping. Your unseen efforts are like planting seeds in the dark soil. You don't see them grow every day, but they're working underground. And one day, those seeds will break through the surface and blossom into something strong, something lasting. I've met people who never sought fame or fortune. They just showed up quietly and gave their best. Whether that was helping a neighbor, mentoring a kid, or simply being honest in their work. And those unseen efforts built legacies far greater than the spotlight ever could. It's easy to want recognition, it's human, but if you chase recognition alone, you'll end up shallow and empty. But if you focus on your unseen effort, on doing the right thing consistently, even when no one notices, you build something that lasts. Your legacy is built when you choose kindness over anger, discipline over laziness, courage over fear, not for the world to see, but because it's who you are. Think about the people you admire most. The ones who inspire you not because of their trophies or headlines, but because of their unwavering character. That's the legacy of unseen efforts. So keep grinding, keep showing up, keep making the right choices in the silence. Because every effort, no matter how small, is building a foundation that will stand the test of time. When no one's watching, do the work. Be the person who keeps going. Be the one who builds greatness through consistency. Be the one who plants seeds of legacy every day, because that's how you become unshakable. That's how you become legendary.